How's it going? It's getting towards the start of winter now. We've got snow and ice forecast over the next few days. The temperature's dropped a lot. So it's kind of the end of the season for most mushrooms now, unfortunately. So I've come out here today hoping to just catch the last few before the frost sort of kills them off. So now I'm starting here today. I found on this sort of mossy, rocky outcrop here, there's a pair of really nice little orange mushrooms that I think are Scurfy Twiglets. So I found a nice landscape composition that I'm happy with here. So I'll take that and then maybe try portrait composition as well, get really close under the gills, and then we'll move on. So give a quick try at a portrait composition, see if I can get close enough. It's a little bit of an awkward spot where they're growing, so it's not ideal. That looks like it should work there. Nice low angle to show the detail underneath. Perfect. As I'm in the area where I first found that blue-green Eyelash Cup fungus a couple months back, thought I'd have one last look to see if there's any left, and there is this one singular fruiting body still surviving. So you see I've gone for a pretty standard portrait composition there of it. It is a bit of an aged specimen, but it does look like it'll still make for quite a nice photo. It's got a really nice turquoise colour to it. So that's taken. I'll of course put this back as always. Put it back how I found it. I've barely walked anywhere after finding that blue-green Eyelash Cup, and I've just found some more Eyelash Cup fungus like I found previously. I've spent years trying to find this. I've never had any luck, and now twice in just a few weeks in my own local forest as well, it's popped up. So I'll get a couple of photos of it. I like the look of that one in the moss there, and there's also a small cluster in there that might look quite nice. So I'll start getting the camera set up, see what I can get. There's at least one or two nice photos to get here, but possibly more. So I think I'm going to go for the one on its own in the moss first, see if I can get a nice angle of that. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge. There's a few plants in the way here. I need to try and get the camera a bit higher up, which is tricky because this tripod doesn't exactly go very high. Okay, I've got something here. Sadly the moss is a little bit taller than I thought it was. It's kind of covering the subject a bit too much, but we'll see how it turns out. Should still be an interesting scene. I might try go from a slightly different angle. I just want to try and be able to see the Eyelash Cup itself a little better. I'll move that ivy leaf out the way. Now this looks like it's going to be a bit better actually. You can really see some of the details of those small hairs, and there's some nice droplets as well. So yeah, that should be perfect. I really like the contrast of the red and orange against the green moss. So now I'll move to this, under that leaf there. The small cluster I've spotted sort of within the bark. Just going to have the same kind of difficulty with getting the camera high enough. Now I found something, it's not perfect. The angle's a lot lower than I would have liked. I would prefer a more top-down view, but it's the best I can get with this tripod, so I'll just let that take. It's also really unstable, so I want to get the photo done before it falls over. It looks like it should turn out to be an interesting shot, even if it's not exactly what I wanted. think that's done. Now I'll have a quick look at this larger one here. I'm not sure if this is really going to be all that interesting. So compared to the others, it's looking a little bit boring, but I'll still take it. It'll be something interesting. It's a lot bigger, so the hairs don't stand out as much, as there's not really any water drops either. But it's an extra photo to take, so that'll do. I've just spent quite a while searching through all this leaf litter, as this is underneath quite a large holly tree. I was hoping I'd be able to find some holly parachutes, but unfortunately I've not came across any. I have, however, found this tiny little white mushroom there growing out of this leaf. It's not a holly leaf. I'm not entirely sure what it is with how old it is. I first found this sort of wider landscape composition of it with just the 90mm lens on. So I think I'll take that. And then after this I'm going to swap and put the teleconverter on so that I can get really close up and just get like a nice portrait shot of it. Try and get as much detail as I possibly can. Well, it's quite an interesting looking little mushroom, that. So I've got the teleconverter on now and I've found this nice portrait composition. This is full magnification with the teleconverter on, so it's 4:1. So I'm just going to tap the screen to make the stack begin. And now using the focus bracketing feature, the camera is now going to take photo after photo while shifting the focus from front to back. And I've got it set at the maximum number of photos, which allows me to just manually stop it once I'm happy with it. So we'll let it run for a bit. It takes a while because at this magnification with natural light only, you have to shoot quite long exposures. I think this photo's at 1/4 of a second for each shot, so absolute maximum we can get is 4 photos a second. You can see it's just getting towards the end now. It's getting towards the cap at the top, so I'll wait for it to pass. I always like to play it safe and let it pass a few frames behind before I stop it, just in case I get it wrong. And I think that is probably at the point now where I can stop it. I was just walking along the footpath up there and I spotted, when I looked down this sort of steep bank, these small white specks here. So I quickly came down to have a look at them, and they are these tiny little cup fungus covered in droplets. Now it's a bit of a precarious location that I'm in here. Just sort of balancing right next to the edge of the water, hoping that neither me or the camera fall in. But it seems to be going okay. So I found this first composition here, just this really tiny one on its own. So I'll take that, and then I'll experiment with a few more, try and see what else I can get. There's probably a few compositions to make here. So I'll try and find maybe some of the bigger ones now to get in the frame. Just want more that are covered in droplets ideally. They tend to be the most interesting. I've got one here. It's only got a couple of very small little droplets on it, but it's quite an interesting frame, I find. You've got a couple out of focus ones in the background as well. So. Okay, there's a nice group there right at the back, so if I adjust the tripod a little bit, should hopefully be able to get a nice frame of them. That's looking quite nice there. I think I'll call this the last one. Now this will probably be the last find of the day, as I'm nearly back at the car. I've come across this small yellow fungus fruiting all over this rotten piece of wood here. So I've first sort of sectioned off one little cluster there, found a really nice landscape composition of it. So I think I'll get that taken. So as with all of them, wait until the subject's been and gone out of focus, just like that. And now let's see if there's any more. The large cluster is a bit too much, I think. There's too much going on. But possibly some of these smaller ones. I spent a bit of time trying to find something else. I've really struggled to find much. It's just there's so much going on. What I have spotted, as you can just about see it there, there's some really tiny ones on their own. So I've sectioned off sort of two side by side for a little landscape composition there. And I think I'll get that taken. And then it's time to head back because I'm about to get back to where I'm parked. So if you got to the end, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and stick around for the next video.